spiritual are just natural thing, but religious thing, a man create religion. But spirituality are from before creation, I bring man and woman together. Spiritual connection. But religion a man-made thing. I cause war all over the world,
Take a walk out a halfway tree if you want to see suffering.
Welcome to the start of another He Says, She Says series, where we express our perspectives on topics such as relationships, workplace habits, careers, and other issues, more frequently discussed in silos, but we are now bringing to the forefront. Joining us today are Reverend Winston Peku, Chairman and Chaplain of the Frankfield Primary School Board, and the resident pastor for the Frankfield and Grantham Circuit of Churches of the Church of God in Jamaica, business owner Adermi Mitchell, and Region 6 President for the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education, Avina Henry. All right, so the question is there a distinction between being religious and being spiritual? Rev, I want to start with you.
Even though the two words are used interchangeable at times, there are distinctions. As I said earlier on, religion is institutionalized. Yes, it is community and tradition, it is doctrines and dogma, while spirituality is an individual thing. And as our brother said that, sometimes you don't really want to go, but as it might not go to church, but you're spiritual, you know that you have to keep the relationship with God going. So it's an individual thing in your spiritual eyes.
All right, so how do you make that distinction and even choose your own spiritual or religious path? That's a question I want to ask.
You see, it's based again upon information, what you have heard. Because you don't know about God. You can't know about God unless you hear about Him.
Or read about Him.
Or read about Him. So you read, you hear, and it is your reading and hearing that will direct you. And you see, what you hear and what I hear, we can hear the same thing but come to a different conclusion based on nurture and environment. Mm-hmm. Because you see we live in Jamaica and you see we live in our world. Many people are hearing the same gospel every day but respond differently to it. So it is you decide how you go. But you see, if you open up and allow the Holy Spirit to direct you, then you can't go wrong.
All right, so my final question I want to throw out, is it important to focus on spirituality? Avina, I want to bring you in right here.
I want to say yes, it is very important. And for that, I'm sitting here and I'm listening. And you have to be careful of the religion you're a part of. Because religion can be good and it can be bad. It depends on the type, because in our religion, as he talks about, there are different ethics, there are laws, there are things that you're supposed to do in some of them. So as individuals, we have to be careful of the religion that we're a part of that will not lead us down to destruction. So I will now answer your question about spirituality, that it is important for us to pay attention to the spiritual parts of our lives and be connected to the right source that will lead us to do good, to be one another's keeper, and to be a positive influence in our society. So yes, we should pay attention to our spiritual part of our lives.
And I say tell that man is a spirit. He lives in a body and he has a soul.
All right, so I want to ask another question. Does choosing a religious path create division among people? Because remember, we are relational beings and not everybody may choose the same path. But does it create division? And then what advice would you give on a person looking to choose their spiritual journey?
That, and I balance it again. History is replete that religion has caused a lot of war. There's no hiding, there's no going around, but there's no dismissing that. But also, history is replete that religion has caused a lot of peace. So one has to be careful. You notice what is happening in the Middle East between Israel and all of those things, the Arab against the Jews and all of those things. That is also a religious war. Mm-hmm. So you see that religion does bring war. And even the church, if you do church history and at all, there was an East and the West church, and there was a time when once you mentioned earlier on about, evangelism and all those things, People was usually called some people witches, and they would have killed them. The church did that, because they were of a different religion. But if you follow Jesus, that is, as you said, we have to care for the religion. Many people take religion, and religion leads to a different way, but Jesus is the only way to God.
So Adermi, I want to bring you in right here. What advice would you give to somebody trying to decide their spiritual journey?
My advice to anyone that is trying to decide which spiritual journey or which religion they want to get into, at the end of the day, that we are all human beings, right? So treat our brothers and sisters the same way how you like to be treated.
Okay, Avina, you're as a counselor, what advice would you give somebody that is looking to decide on that spiritual journey?
I will send them to go and read the holy words. When you read the words and you leave self out of it and allow God himself to lead you, you will get the answer. You will find the answer because you'll be guided by the Holy Spirit. Even in counseling, you have to have Christian counseling because you will not be successful. You cannot be successful unless the Spirit of the Lord is present. You will not get the results that you need.
All right, to help our people, what advice would you give someone embarking on a spiritual journey? I want to start with Adermi.
That's for anyone who's embarking on a spiritual journey, as our commander says, in terms of, you have to have people that are around you to help you, support you with that spiritual journey. Because it's evil and good is real. That's how we can put it as. So you want good people around you to help form you and guide you along that way.
Okay. Perfect. All right. That's a perfect way to end. And that's where we end our He Says, She Says conversation. Stay tuned for more. Our guests were Reverend Winston Peku, Avina Henry, and Adermi Mitchell. Thanks for watching. I'm Andre Palmer. Take care.